Hi, welcome. Today I'll be showing you another video of Wazu where I will simulate a SSH brute force attack, and I will show you how Wazu can detect the brute force attack and run an active response by which it will block that source IP and it will stop that attack for further. This is one of the thing. In another video I will show you how Wazu, instead of blocking or maybe with the blocking of IP address, can disable the user account so that user will be disabled and no other adversary can try to log in from outside or from inside, whatever the location is, to that account. So but let me tell you one thing. I have tried this with the Windows, but I installed OpenSSH server in Windows and tried this SSH attack, brute force attack, but from the Windows I'm not getting any source IP, so I cannot run the active response. But from Linux machine I can get the active response source IP. From the Linux machine I can get the source IP of the attacker. So let's go to our environment. So we have three machines. On my left hand side, this is Wazu server. On the right hand side, top right hand side, it is the victims machine. And on the right hand side bottom, we have the attacker machine. So we will start the attack from here. So let's first understand what is the IP address of the victim. IP. So IP address is here 192.168.10.137. This is the IP address of victim. So what I will do first, let's try a brute force attack from our attack machine. We will use Hydra. So in the earlier RDP brute force video, I have shown you how to conduct the brute force attack through Hydra. Let's do it again. So what we will do is, let me write down Hydra -L. Now need to give the user list. I already have created a user list in my directory user share Hydra user list, and I also have a password list which is same directory user share Hydra and then password list password.txt. Now we will do SSH base attack. So let's type the IP address 192.168.10.137 is the IP address and protocol is SSH. Let's do this attack. So it is trying, it will be trying 81 times. Okay, now what I will do, let the attack complete. Okay, now what I will do, I will go to our Wazu dashboard and check from the threat hunting page how it look like. So let's go to threat hunting page. Let's click on the active agent, click CentOS. This is the active agent. Go to threat hunting and go to event. See, we get lot of alerts we are getting. At least let's check the 50 rows. So let's check the first one. Those are all attack. It's logged in with a different rule ID. See, this is the agent IP address and this is the source IP address. See, the field is data.src IP. Okay, these two are IP address. This is the SSHD and attempt to log in using non-existent users, because I have given random users, so that is the reason it is showing non-existent users. It is trying with the permutation and combination. Okay, so it's a for the mitre technique, it is showing password guessing attack for SSH, and mitre rule ID is T111.0.001. So the parent is T11110. We can use this also. So we also have other login failure, which is called PAM. Why it is showing PAM user login failed? Because the user ID username was perfect, but the password was not perfect, incorrect. So that is the reason it is showing PAM user login failure. So source IP and the victim's IP. Okay, authentication failed, T11110 mitre, and mitre technique is credential access. So whenever we are getting PAM user login failed, that means the user account user ID was perfect, is correct, but the password was incorrect. Okay, so what we need to do from here, we need to get this rule ID, because we need to set another rule from this rule ID. So I already noted down some rule ID, which is like 5710, 5503, and some other 5551 is another. 5551 means PAM multiple failed login in a small period of time. Okay, so Wazuh logged everything Wazuh logged. So everything is perfect from here. Okay, so let's see the rule ID for mitre is T11110 is the parent credential access. Okay, so that means for a same user ID, correct user ID, Hydra brute force with multiple password, but every time it try with the wrong password. That is the reason we are getting this error. See, the mitre technique is brute force is written also here. Rule group comes under the PAM syslog authentication failure. Okay, so we get the rule IDs now. So 3-4 rule IDs we will be getting. 5710 is one of them, 5551, 5503. Okay, 5710 is another. Okay, so now let's go to our Wazuh server. What I will do from here, let's first open local rule files, because we will combine all those rule IDs into a single one first, then we will do active response. So how we are going to do, we have nano, then we will be going where osec, then etc, then rule, then local rules.xml. We have to make some change in this file. What changes we need to make? Let's do it. So let's make a custom rule here. So let's try with same thing, group name. Okay, so group name will be, let's find out a group name which is unique for us to determine to decide. So the name I'll set here, brute force correlation. You can set any rule as per your convenience, it's no problem at all. Okay, now we have to set rule ID, a customized rule ID. Okay, so rule, then ID equal to quote, let's say a rule ID unique 120000. Okay, it's unique, make sure it's a unique ID, because if it is not, then it will start clashing. Then set a label. So label means what it will be the severity level. So let's say it's a high severity case, because they are trying with the PAM account brute force. So we need to make sure it's a high level thing. So let's do it 12. Okay, now frequency frequency. Why we are setting frequency? In this role, we are making sure that if any brute force happening at least 3 times, at least 3 failed login attempt or 3 brute force attempt, maybe failed, success, anything, 3 times within a time frame of 2 minutes. That is the reason I am setting it 3. Okay. Now then time frame equal to 120. So that means here I am setting a rule 120,000 will be fired with the severity level 12 if we have 3 matches within 120 seconds. Okay, 120 is the second. Let's do another thing here, which is ignore equal to 300. Why we are using ignore is because within 5 minutes it will give one alert to stop, to avoid alert storm. This is the reason for this. Okay, so let's close this rule ID. Now, so what I will do, I will set here few other rules, which is if underscore matched underscore seed quote close. Then now we got the rule IDs which Wazu by default fire for SSH brute force. We need to mention this here. So let's try with 5763, and again we need to close this bracket. If underscore matched underscore seed. Okay, so what I will do, I will copy this because every time I don't need to write them. Okay, so let's do it again for another rule ID, which is, let me paste. Okay, next rule is 5503. I have noted down those rules. Now again let me paste. Okay, same thing again, paste. Next rule is 5760. Again paste. Next rule 5710. I have another rule which is 5551. And now okay, so we are done here. What we have mentioned so far, that rule ID 120,000 will be fired with severity level 12 if 3 matches within 120 seconds, if this rule any of them or one of them fire. So if Wazu fire any of the rule from here or all of the rule from here within 120 seconds and 3 times it match, then rule 120,000 will be fired. So if it is fire more than 3, that means it's a brute force attack. So the brute force attack, what happened in the brute force attack? They tried with multiple login attempts. So definitely it will be more than 3. So for the safe side, I mention this here as 3. Now we need to mention another clause here, which is source IP. We will be getting hits from the same IP. So we need to get that IP also. That is another condition, because if the hit is coming or the hits are coming from different computer, so it may not be a brute force. It may be a DDoS attack or maybe a legitimate request. So we need to make sure that hits are coming from a single IP address. So we already know what are the IP address, data.src IP. Now let's mention this IP address here. So I will do here same underscore src IP. So this condition is important here because we need to match 3 times within 120 seconds from the same IP address. So IP address point is important here. So now let's do a description, because I need a description also, because otherwise how can I know what things we are doing? The description. So in the description I will write here okay, correlation brute force SSH attack. You can write down anything as per your convenience. So let's write down any attack, any of 5763 5503 5760 5710 5551 triggered 3 times from same IP address within 2 minutes. Okay, now let's close the description. DSCRIPTION description. Okay, I'll tell you what I have done here, no worry, but let me just first complete this. So let's make it under a group, and next thing, close the rule, close the group, because two tags are open now. So let's do it from here, rules, and now close the group. Okay, so I need to make these things a little bit more indentified, so it will help me to understand. Okay, so what we have done here, let's revise it again. So we have first created a rule, customized rule. The rule ID is 120.0.0.0. When it will be fired with level 12 severity, and if any of the rule mentioned here, 5763 5503 5760 5710 5551, any of them or all of them, if fired by Wazu 3 times within 120 seconds from one single IP, then it will be given us an alert with rule ID 120.0.0.0 with description, correlation, brute force SSH attack, and it will be comes under the brute force underscore correlation group. So these things we have done here. So from here we need to remember 120.0.0.0. This is the rule ID we need to remember. Let's close this thing, Control X, Y, enter. So now what I will do, I will go to, first let's restart the Wazu manager system, because maybe if we have any problem it will be detected now. systemctl restart Wazu manager. So done. So we already done 50% of it. Now let's do another thing, which is we need to bind this with our Wazu. Bind this rule. So let's go nano var osec etc osec configuration file. Okay, open this file. In this file, if we scroll down to the bottom, we need to find command section. Where is the command section? We need to find vulnerability we got. So what we will use here, we will use this command, firewall drop. Firewall drop we will use. We don't need to write down again. It's already there in the Wazu. Okay, so very good thing. Okay, name firewall drop, executable firewall drop, and timeout allowed. Yes. Okay, very good. We don't need to do anything from here. Now what I will do, I will make an active response correlation based on this command and the rule we have created, the customized rule we have created. So let's go to the active response section. We can write down here also, but it's best to go to the active response area so that we will be organized. We'll be staying organized. So what I will do from here, this is the area of active response. Let's write down an active response from here. It start with active response. Active response. Okay. First thing first, we need to set disable equal to no. So I will write down here disabled no. Okay. First thing first. Okay. Second thing, command. Which command we are going to correlate here? Firewall drop. You remember we use the command firewall drop. Firewall drop. It's already there. So let's close this tag. Command. Okay. Next command will be location, from where we will be going to run this active response. So location will be local here, because we will be using active response from Wazuh manager, Wazuh server. If we are configured agent as a executable location, then we need to configure this from agent. So since we are not doing it from agent side, I will write down here local, then location will be closed. So we have two options, one is local, one is from agent side. So I will use here local. Now what I will do here, I will use our rule ID now. The customized rule ID I have created earlier, rules underscore ID. Okay, and the customized rule we had made is 120.0.0.0. Now close this tag. I'm correlating here with the rule I have created, and set a timeout. So why we need to set timeout is because else it will block that source IP for the lifetime. So we don't want that. We need to release that IP after certain period of time. So we will use timeout, which is 180 seconds. That means 3 minutes. After 3 minutes of blocking that IP, it will release the IP again. Okay. So what is optional thing comes into my mind. I will use here another command, which is repetitive offender, because if we set this as a repetitive offender and the same IP address gets blocked frequently, Wazuh can apply backoff intervals. So first block, it will block for 180 seconds. Maybe from the next blocking from the same IP address, it will use 180 plus 60 if we set this rule. Okay, first let's set this rule, then it will be easy for me to explain. REPEATED, repeated offender, OFFENDERS, offenders. Let's say 60. So first IP blocking will be for 180 seconds. Repeated blocking, second blocking onwards, it will be 180 plus 60. Second 300, third 900. So it will increase gradually. REPEATED, repeated, OFFENDERS. Oh, I have made a spelling mistake here. REPE offenders. Okay, now let's close the active response. We are done with the active response here. Active response. Okay, we are done everything. So what we have done, we are using command which is firewall drop, which is an inbuilt command for Wazuh. We are using that firewall drop. The command will run from the local, from the manager Wazuh server, and it will throw a rule ID of 120.0.0.0 and it will block that source IP for 180 seconds by default. So after that, it will block that IP address 180 plus 60, second time, third time 180 plus 300, and fourth time 180 plus 900 for the repetitive offenders. Okay, let's save this file. Control X, Y, enter. Let's restart Wazuh manager. Okay, so restart done. So first let's check the pin reachability of this server. Pin 192.168.10.137. So we have pin reachability now. So let's do a brute force attack here. Okay, so already have the command earlier. Okay, this is the command for Hydra. Let's run it. Okay, so we have started the brute force attack. After its completion, we will go to the Wazuh dashboard and check whether it is detecting the brute force attack for SSH and it is implementing the active response or not. Let the attack to complete first. Remember, we have set a rule: 3 time matches from a single IP address within 120 seconds, 2 minutes. Let the attack complete. So it will try 81 times. Probably it's done. Let's go to the Wazuh dashboard. So now let's refresh. Okay, so we got plenty of logs. 5710, these are the default logs. 651. Okay, see, this is two things I need to show you. See, we got our active response here. So after tried lot of times, we have set our correlation customized rule, which is correlated brute force. Any of the IP triggered 3 times from the same IP within 2 minutes, and the rule ID was set 120.0.0.0 with the severity level 12. So now let's go into it and find out what's it within there. So the source IP 132, agent IP 137, data source user admin, source admin account, and decoder name SSHD. Okay, so we got our rule ID here fired already with rule level 12 and rule ID is 120.0.0.0. Time and date is also showing. Now let's see where the Wazuh implement active response. This is the rule: host blocked by firewall drop active response with rule ID 651. So Wazuh blocked this host for 180 seconds for the first time with the rule ID 651. Let's check this active response. Agent IP 137 and SSHD decoder, invalid user admin from 132 is the attacker's IP address. They tried with the username admin also. So that is the reason it is showing, and it is the log showing invalid user admin, all of the log showing, and it is executed for correlated brute force, the customized rule we have created with 120.0.0.0. Based on that, this rule active response implemented, triggered actually. See the rule parameter alert rule 120.0.0.0 with rule level 12. And this is the important thing: data.parameter.program. It is showing active response bin firewall drop. Firewall drop is the command we are using here. So what I will check within 180 seconds, let's go back to our command prompt and let's try to pin the victim's IP address. Let's see what happened. So I think it's already unlocked. 180 seconds already been done. So that is the reason. So let's do another thing. Let's try another attack here. And after that, we will check the pin reachability. Okay, let's do another attack. And after that, it will block us again. And that time we will check our reachability. So we are getting 2 logs here. One is 120.0.0.0, which is customized rule we have created. and we have set our rules in certain way that if the 120.0.0 fired, then it will enforce the active response. The active response Wazuh by default implemented by using firewall drop command with rule ID 651. Okay. So now again, let's refresh, let's check. Lot of logs. We can filter this out. By way of using a filter. So we don't need to find these things. 615, add a filter, rule dot id equal to 651 is one of 651 and 120.0.0. Let's save this. These are the 651 rule we are getting. Oh, I have made an extra 0 here, so that is the reason. Maybe 120.0.0 is not showing. So let's do it properly. 120.0.0. We are getting here. Host blocked by firewall drop, active response 651. Host blocked by firewall drop. Now let's check the pin reachability. It's important now what is happening here. Let's close this attack. Now let's do a pin. See, we are pinging to our victim machine, but ping is not reachable because the source IP has already been blocked by Wazuh firewall drop command. So that is the reason. So this video ends here. The next video I will share how instead of blocking the IP address, I can block the user account. That is also a good video. So let's close here. If you like this video, do like and subscribe. Thank you.